And then today we're gonna focus on emasculation, the emasculation of men, right? And I was going to the Bible, and I was looking at Genesis. I like to. I'm trying to break the Bible down as best as I can, as my own uh, understanding, and we got to analyze the book with a fine teeth comb. So I'll read this, I'll go over it over and over again until till it makes sense to me. So we're gonna use logic and common sense, right? We're also gonna keep things in the confinement of nature. We're not gonna go too far above, too far below. We're gonna keep things real and short. All right. So today we're gonna talk about emasculation in the Bible, and I'm gonna use the Bible Hub as my reference, reference. I do have the original. I do have a copy. That's the original. I do have a copy, the King James. I have a copy of the Ethiopian Bible, and I also do have a copy of the Apocrypha. And I think I have a copy of the Septuagint as well. I gotta remember. I don't think I remember, but I think I do. So, with now said, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. So let's get into it. So this is Genesis chapter 2, right? And the topic is basically the entertainment, or the beginning, or the starting point to where masculinity was tested. And the conclusion I came to is that Eve tested Adam masculinity, in the beginning. And he basically punked out. He became a simp, you know? He didn't follow the rules of God, his master, that he was supposed to follow, and, do basically keep the orders in line and let Eve know that these are the rules of the Lord and you got to follow them. If I have to follow them, you got to follow them. So I'm doing a quick breakdown just to show you how, I would say, unappreciative Eve was of how, she was created, and the fact that she backstabbed Adam and manipulated him and turned him into a simp. Okay? So we're going to start with the creation of women. As you can see, we're looking at Bible Hub. And I hope you guys can see what I can see. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made a woman and brought her unto man. Now, the appreciation there is that I pretty much think Adam was happy and appreciated that God made him a woman, but he also used his bones to create the woman. And, Adam was happy. Now, we don't know how long. Let me see if my volume is up. Hold on. Put my volume up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so we don't know how long Adam and Eve was on earth or in the garden, prior to her being made. But the appreciation should be that she was created because of Adam, right? And she was created from his rib. Now let's let's go to the graphics of this. Let's say the surgery didn't go well, and Adam could have died. Let's say the surgery did go well, but the development or the experiment to spawn Eve, genetically make her from her, just, basically clone Adam as a female. What if it didn't go well? She could have come out as a hermaphrodite. She could come out as another male. She could have come out a deformative, whatever. but she came out as a perfect cocoa bottle, pretty female. Now, it didn't say what type of hair structure Adam had. It didn't say what type of skin tone he was. It didn't say, if he had a lot of hair in his body or no hair in his body. The same thing for Eve. He doesn't say she had hair on her head, long hair, short hair. It didn't say anything. He just said he had man and woman, right? It didn't give a description of what they looked like. Now let's go forward because we're trying to get into the appreciation of where we're already kind of going over the appreciation that Eve didn't appreciate. She was created by Adam. And as we look at the women today, I don't think they appreciate that they was made by men. Now, this is for the people who believe in Christianity, right? This is for the people who believe in Christianity. If you believe in Christianity, if a woman, any woman who believe in Christianity, and I'm not saying this, it is my opinion, but it should be something that people should take dear to them if they believe in Christianity. If a woman believes in Christianity and she read in the Bible, or she does read the Bible, she heard about it, she go to church on Sundays, women should look at men with this strong passion for his sacrifice of putting his rib on the table so she can be here with him. Right? Women should appreciate that. I don't think women appreciate that. Because the pushback we're getting, now we're not saying all of women now, but the most of them, they don't appreciate men for the sacrifices that we do or make to sustain them. He put his life on the line. He put, imagine man was to have all their rib structure. How strong would he be? He'd be extra strong. He would have an extra rib to defend his body, to defend his inner parts, his liver, right? Now, with that said, let's move forward. And Adam now, as she was created, Adam now giving her, the title, right? As saying, and Adam said, "This is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." Do y'all understand that? The appreciation women should give men is that the man have taken sacrifice to rip his bone out and create a woman. That's one appreciation right there. And I think women kind of like falling back from that. Some women, like 90, I would say like 80% of them, don't appreciate that, especially in the Western world. "Therefore shall man leave his father and mother, and shall cling unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." Just to be clear, it didn't say nothing about marriage or any kind of union type of situation, but in any order, it just says man and woman should be together as if their mother and father was together, right? At the end of the day, that's a little weird, because if it shall a man cleave to his father and mother, and they shall cleave unto and man shall cleave unto his wife. What example did Adam and Eve had to understand what a mother and father is when they never had a mother and father? I mean, it's not like God was walking around in the garden showing them, "This is my wife." I don't even think Adam even see God's wife. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he never mentioned it. So should we assume that I don't know what God's wives look like? Anyway, let's move forward. That's another conversation. "And they both were naked, and the man and his wife, and were not ashamed." So they was not ashamed to be naked. They was free to do whatever they want to do. They basically, I guess, if you want to use the scientific term, in terms of evolve, right? from, I guess the great apes or whatever you want to call them, the chimpanzees. So there was like regular. I'm just assuming. I'm not saying that's what there was, because I mean, if human was perfectly made, where's the hominids, right? How did the hominids come into play? But that's not the conversation. Conversation is about man being manipulated or got his emasculation tested from day one. Now, after God created Adam, Eve was conceived from Adam's rib. Adam sacrificed himself to give up on his rib to bring woman. Women should appreciate that. That's where the appreciation comes in. Man is laying down his life for a woman to be his companion, right? We lacking that appreciation at this point. We don't really get that appreciation today. Moving forward, we're not going to respond to the mother and father situation because we don't know how that planned out. So, moving forward, let's go to. So, he talked about the serpent. There was a serpent distilled, then many beasts of the field which the Lord had made. Now, God made the serpent, right? He said, now that the serpent was more substill, and the beasts of all the field, so that God had made. And he said unto woman, he said unto woman, yea, had God said. Basically, he had said. He was past tense, right? I think this is, I'm assuming Adam, sound like Adam was probably talking to her. Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the tree of the garden, but of the fruit of the trees which is in the midst of the garden. So she basically responding saying that she shouldn't eat of the midst tree of the tree in the garden, and the serpent is probably telling her that she can do it. But the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, God had said. Now she's saying that God said that. Now there's a past tense conversation here because we never seen the conversation where God talked to Eve specifically. He talked to Adam specifically, and then for some reason, let's just assume, this is the assumption, that Eve was told by Adam what to do. This is just the assumption. But we never actually quoted where God spoke to Eve. Okay? So she goes, okay, and so on the midst of God, and God had said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, unless ye die, meaning that if they touch it, they will die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for God do know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as God, knowing good and evil. All right. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that was the serpent of the eye, was the pleasance of the eye, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, he took the fruit thereof and did eat. Now, she basically ate the fruit. The serpent convinced her to eat the fruit because if she eat the fruit, she's gonna understand this. She's gonna be on the same level as God, basically, and she's gonna be able to see things that God see or understand things that God see. The thing about that question is, why did God put the tree in the garden anyway? Why he want to test them like that? Now, let's say he was testing them, and they did eat the fruit of the tree. I mean, does that mean God is the same, equal to human features, or you know, there was in a segregated location versus where God was. Like that's let's move on. We're not gonna hurt our head about that because that's a little confusing, right? Because when you're reading the story, you got to make sense of it. You can't just read something and just dive out and be like, oh well, I believe. No, you gotta make sense, right? All right. So where we at? Where we at? She looked at the fruit thereof and did it. So Eve ate the fruit. She tried it, right? And she realized she was naked. She realized, um, every a lot of things that she'd never really foresee. Being like she was, I would say, in the spirit, as they would say. She couldn't tell that she was naked and them type of things. And then no, and the eyes of them both were open, and they they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Now, the part, I mean, this book is a little bit, it's a little bit off, a little bit, because when I read the other books, they kind of give a little bit more direct response in terms of what happened, because there's supposed to be a section where Eve, the Bible Hub is good, but the translation is a little bit off from the actual 1611. In the 1611, don't judge me for what I mean, don't quote me for what I'm about to say because I'm not being verbatim. But I think, if I remember correctly, it does say when she ate the fruit by herself, and then Adam was, let's say Adam was chilling like on a rock or something, taking a nap, and then Eve came to him and convinced him to eat the fruit, because he didn't just eat the fruit right away. It was a conversation between Eve and Adam before he ate the fruit. But in this one, it seems like he just ate the fruit. You know what I mean? He just, based on the description, based on how they're wording it, it's like she ate the fruit and then he ate the fruit at the same time. They didn't separate the conversation. But that's a little confusing right there. I think there should have been a little bit more. All right, so we're gonna go then to put the fig leaves on them, because the body parts were showing. The male had his chest out, his lower body parts. The female had her chest out, her lower body parts. So they took fig leaves, and they're all leaves, broad leaves, and they wrapped them around them as skirts and aprons, right? And the Lord God voice, and they heard the voice of the Lord, and God walked into the garden in the cool of the midday. It's supposed to be midday, but see, I'm quoting words that I've read before, so that's why I make them laugh. Anyway, in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid from themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard the voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked. Now, and he and I did hid myself. Now, the part that's a little weird right here is that, why would he hide when he already have the apron on? You know what I mean? I don't think he hid because of the apron. I mean, because he had on the fig leaves as covering. So he shouldn't have never hide. He's wearing clothes at this point, right? I think he hid because he did something wrong. You know what I mean? He was hiding from God because he did something wrong, not because he had the fig leaves on. That's my response. Because if you cover yourself up, there's nothing to hide for, because mentally you know you cover it up, right? The person, whoever coming can't see you fully naked. So the only reason why he hid is because he know God gonna see, because God gonna know he ate from the tree of fruit, the tree of life, right? All right. So he hid, right? Because he was naked. And then he said, we continue from 11, right? And he said, "Oh, who told you that thou was naked? That thou eating of the tree thereof I command thee, that thou shouldest not eat." See, I don't know why. Anyway, and the Adam said, "The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the fruit, and I did eat." And the God said unto the woman, "What is that thou hast done?" And the woman said, "The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat." Now, this piece right here, this is the piece where I'm also showing how men became his men first simp mood, right? Men obey rules and laws, right? That's what we do, right? We keep things in order, we keep structure, we keep laws in place, we make sure everything run afloat, because if we don't, if we do bend the rules, we bend it in the way that we know things are still in order, right? We don't give too much loose string, because who's gonna fix it when they all fall apart, right? And we don't have time to be going back and forth. We want everything to run smoothly. So when Eve ate of the fruit from the serpent, Adam should have said, "No, hell no. Be gone." You know what I'm saying? What the hell? You might as well stay with the serpent now, because it's too late. You're over with. I'm done with you. Like, how would you? You just got here. You're already messing up. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? That's what Adam should have said. You know what I'm saying? But due to her convincing, now this is another question. She was naked. She could see herself naked, right? Adam probably wasn't naked at the moment when she brought him the fruit, right? When he saw her and he's, looking at her, I mean, what was his response, or what was his action or his expression when he saw her naked? Did she convince? I mean, like I said, there's a section where this part of the book doesn't show the convincing part. Like, damn, you know what? I should get my where is it? Where did I put it? It's not that. Hold on. God damn. Anyway, the next time I talk about this, I want to do a part two. I'm gonna bring the other translations from the other books. This is why I need to do another part two of putting all the books together and break them all down together and translate them, to show you how confusing these books are. They don't never say the same thing, right? And context matters, sentences matters, words matters when you're reading something, because it kind of shapes a vision of what you're seeing versus what you're reading. You know what I mean? But we're not gonna struggle too much on the vision of how Eve convinced Adam. The problem is that when she did come to him with the fruit, he should have said no. It's the same thing like if a woman was to cheat on you today. It's not the same thing. A man's cheating on a woman versus a woman. Well, let me not say cheating. Cheating is not the word. We shouldn't cheat. That's not the word. A man having sex with a woman is not the same for a woman having sex. The effects is different. Okay, the effects is different. A lot of people say, "Oh no," but it is different. It affects men way more than how it would affect a woman. And then the reason is because a woman would put more passion and feeling into having sex with another man. Now I know some of y'all gonna be like, "Oh, women could do without feeling." A woman having sex without feeling or some kind of emotional connection, that means she's she's damaged. She's overly. She's a PT. You know what I mean? She's a PT. She's the AS, right? She's a AX. I call it. Yeah, she's an AX escort, right? She's over the top. Her emotions, her body, it's too how should I say, normal. Like she's too used to like different bodies and different, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, long story short, for men, that's just natural for us to pursue women, and that's, we're supposed to multiply. So we don't have the mentality to be, or the shame to feel as if like we are stuck to one female, but we do. Um, uh, we do once we do make a decision for the woman that we want to be in, we put her all into it. We make sure she's straight, right? In terms of, making sure that we stick with her no matter what, right? We bond with her, and women's supposed to do the vice versa. Now let's continue with the story. The manipulation of men, right? The man first, when men first become a simp, right? Men first, manipulation by woman, right? Eve manipulated Adam to eat the fruit. Like like I said, I read this chapter. It didn't break down enough to show how she pursued him to eat the fruit, but the bottom line is she did it, right? Adam's supposed to uphold the laws and the rules. That's his job. Just like how in real world, men who uphold the rules and laws and structure, women's in the Adam and Eve in the Bible supposed to do the same thing. Now, the issue is this: after she came to Adam with the fruit, and Adam ate the fruit. I mean, we don't know what happened in between there. There was some mesmerization because, like I said, when God came to see Adam, he was hiding. Adam shouldn't be hiding because he had clothes on. He was hiding because he was ashamed that he got caught, or he fought for a woman's manipulation to doing something that he wasn't supposed to do. She convinced Adam to do something. I mean, I believe she used her sexuality. She's like, damn, Adam, look at me. I got this, I got that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Adam was like, oh, crap. You know what? Let me take a bite too. I might feel the same way. Anyway, they ate the fruit. God came. They got caught. After they ate the fruit, now, this is the part that I say where the simp is fully. Now, he's already got manipulated. He already done simping. He already got manipulated. He's simping. He now have acknowledged that he got manipulated and he's simping. He was hiding, so he know he did something wrong, right? Adam even doubled down. The fact that he doubled down and admitted what he did, he didn't beg. Okay, let's continue reading from 14 because I don't want to skip ahead. So Allah God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cars above all cattle and above beasts and fields. See, that's another part that's weird too, because God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cars above all cattle and beasts and feed in the field. Upon the bed thou go, and the dust shall eat all the days of thy life. No, I don't know what kind of animal is that, because some people say it's a snake. Snakes goes crawl all day, the belly don't get rubbed down, so I don't know about the dust. He said, "Thou and dust shall, what? And dust shall thou eat all the days of thy life, and dust All right. So anyway, let's keep going, right? Because our conversation is not about the serpent. It's more about Adam and Eve. All right. And then he said, now moving on in number 15, we said, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thee seed and her seed, it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, I don't know who translated this, but I think they was trying to confuse people even more. So let's break this down. I'm gonna break this part down. Remember, Adam doubled down, and the reason why I say Adam doubled down is because he didn't beg. He didn't say, "Oh my God, God, I'm sorry. You know, you the one you made woman for me." He didn't say, "Well, listen, I made a mistake. You never told me. This temptation, this or that temptation, that. You never gave me no the explanation about like anything, what I'm saying, about seduction or nothing like that. You just told me you never had these conversations with me. So now that I see something I've never seen and the feelings that I got, how am I supposed to respond to those feelings, right? But the bottom line is you didn't do what I tell you to do from the get-go. So let's say Adam did refuse Eve. Would God have made him another woman? You know what I'm saying? Would he have created another female for Eve? We don't know. That's a question mark, right? Put a pin in it, stick it on the wall, right? God now, God doubled down. God now doubled down on his own creation and said, I'm going to punish both of you. Now, I guess he hold Eve accountable by, he said he's going to make both of them in enmity, meaning that they're both going to have disagreements about things, They're going to have issues that on both sides of the table where they're going to have to, like, have arguments and, have to make decisions and, stuff like that. Naturally, we don't know who created human beings, right? Naturally, just on a natural level, right? We don't know. But what we do know is in nature, based on science, somewhat development, humans have the capacity, naturally, humans have a functional way on this planet Earth, right? And just like I said before, just like how animals have a structure, functional way to operate in terms of mating and relationships, humans have the same structure, right? Even though in the natural world we up to our own decisions and our own way of, perceiving those type relationships, right? In the biblical way, there was never there's really no structure in the biblical way. There's no like design in the biblical way for man and woman to be together, right? It was just like you need a companion. I'm going to make you one, and you just figure out what to do, right? And Adam, from what I understand, after they ate the fruit, is how he figured out, or you could say he used his instincts to know what to do when it comes to a female. And then God, due to the fact that Eve, they both eat from the fruit, and God doubled down on Adam. Okay, my thing is this: why not just make another pair of human beings? Like, just scrap them and start over again. You know what I'm saying? We could have lived a new generation. We could have a new generation. Oh, better yet, they could have separated them. They have their section and we have our section, right? But anyway, God doubled down and he said, you know what? Instead of creating a new set of humans, and y'all have now learned how to, basically use each other or take advantage of each other, right? Which, women have now learned to manipulate men, and men have now learned to understand that, he can have a weakness for female in terms of manipulation. I'm gonna send you guys out and continue this manipulation behavior. Like that does not fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? You don't fix a problem with a problem. You know what I mean? Making their life worse, or claiming that they're gonna be human beings now, like there wasn't human beings before. You know what I'm saying? So somebody gonna say, "Oh no, there wasn't human beings. There was spirit." Listen, it doesn't matter what there was. She still was a male and a female. So even after they ate the fruit, there still was a male and a female, right? And God did not hold Eve accountable. He blamed the man, because man's supposed to hold Eve. Man's supposed to hold the woman accountable. She is his servant, right? She is his counterpart. She belongs to him. Just like in our life, in human beings today, women, for the people who believe in the Bible, women belongs to men. Y'all belongs to men. Now, the weird thing is, y'all are not born from men, but, that's the way it works, right? Now, what he means when he said the woman, let me see, so we're going to have beef between us. We're going to have disagreements. And then he said between men and women, and thy seed, and so the man and the woman, so the womb for the woman, the egg, and the man's seed, gonna have to come. He's talking about sex now, right? So he's talking about sex now. Is that supposed to be a painful thing? Because I don't think sex is a painful thing. Sex is a good. I mean, I don't think anybody, when it comes to male and females, we do not hate like that. That's almost could heal anything if it depends on your situation, right? From what I understand, sometimes sex could bring um what you call, when them people in the vegetable state, they say sometimes sex might bring the person back. So sex can heal certain things. So he described it as if like sex is a punishment. I don't understand that. Now the next thing was, it shall bruise thy head, and thy shall bruise thy heel. So I think this, when he means bruise the head and bruise the heel, I think he's saying that the woman would be stressful, I'm assuming, and the man is gonna be working hard to the point where his feet hurt. I think that's what he's trying to translate. Like I said, in different books, is different translation for this part of the text. Um, in other texts, it would say man would work till the sweat of the brow and eat pieces of bread. And I think they say women gonna bear the pain of having children. I think that's, in different books. Depends on the book you're reading. That's how it translate it. So I think that's what he mean by bruise that head and bruise that heel. Um, so this is the thing. So God is also, to me, if I'm reading this properly, and I'm analyzing it properly, God is basically saying that men became manipulated by women, which make him a simp, right? Not only that he became the simp, right? He now double down and hide from God without being honest. Instead of he run to God and said, oh my God, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. I did something I'm not supposed to do, right? He hide and he enjoyed his life. Shit, he probably was getting it in when God popped up, right? Then God punished them and saying that men now have to work for women to the point where his heel is bruised. Like, how is what? And guess what? let me show you how unbalanced this is. So women gonna enjoy the pleasure of sex, right? She gonna get pregnant. She gonna have to go through the times and the trials of being pregnant, right? Um, she gonna push the baby out. Sometimes that could be painful for some women. Some women say it's not that painful because they have something to be painful. They have three and four and five of them. You know what I mean? Um, Because actually, if I know cut my foot once, I ain't trying to cut it again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do that. I mean, I know people gonna challenge me on this, but I'm just speaking the truth. If I know something is painful, I ain't gonna want to do it again. But anyhow, so women should go through pain by having birth. He said they're gonna bruise their head. I'm assuming when he said bruise their head, I mean I think what he's saying is that women gonna be uh I guess it's the pain of having birth, I guess. I'm not sure. Hmm. I think that's what it is. Because reading the other texts, I think that's what it says. You know, she gonna now have pain for giving birth, while the man gonna, basically sweat and, basically wore his body out just for working. Anyway, even in this situation, the man have it worse. He now have to work his life to take care of women. So God doubled down on his simping. God doubled down on his manipulation that Adam produced. You see what I'm saying? No, rightfully so. You could say Adam deserved it, right? But guess what? Adam is the beginning of our generation. He's the pinnacle of the biblical generation. For people who believe in the Bible, Adam is the fault. And God doubled down on Adam's fault for this whole generation of people that read this book today, that believe in this book today. If you don't believe in this book, then you know this doesn't affect you. It doesn't apply to you. The only reason why the majority of the world are following this ideology is because it was pushed and enforced for people to believe in some kind of religion, which is mostly between the religion, the Christian Bible, the Mohammed Bible, right, and the Muslim Bible, the Quran. I think that's about it, right? I ain't know too much about the Hinduism. I know Buddhism, is all about free mind and peace and stuff like that. Uh, yeah. So God doubled down on Adam and make him more of a simp for women and told him to go work his butt off until his heel got sore, so he could take care of the female. Now it doesn't mean that the woman doesn't do anything, because she do have a role, right? But that's simping right there. That's a big simp move right there. And that's what I mean by this is the first level of simping. Adam was the first simp for humankind, or based on the biblical humankind. Not scientific, human, for the biblical humankind. We're not talking science now. We're not talking nature. We're talking biblical. 'Cause in nature, it doesn't work that way. In nature, it's more of man, he do more stronger things or heavier things or more riskier things than what the woman can do. That does not signify that he have to do it for the female, because a man doesn't have to have a woman to go work or to hunt for food, or even in this present day work his butt off to succeed in anything. It's just his choice, his desire. That's nature. And in nature, it's natural for a woman to have birth, like any other animal on the planet that have birth and have babies. And for sure they might have little pain here and there. They go through their natural pains or whatever they go through, but it was made for them to go have these, these I would say these endeavors or attributes or whatever to exercise in life. That's just, we don't, that's how it was, that's how it is, right? We can't speak anything outside of it because we don't know how humans was made 100%. We just know how we function, right? We just know how we function in nature. And nature says, this is what man does, this is what women do. Now, it doesn't take away that women can't work or should not work till her heels hurt. Yes, she can work the same way. Just like how men can work the same way. There's no like men do this a lot and women do this a lot. It can be a balance in differences, but it can be a balance where they both can exhaust the advantages. Okay? Let's remember that. That's number one. We have to remember that in nature, women can work just as much if they choose to. Men can work just as much if he choose to. But he shouldn't have to go to the point where he's damaged himself. She don't have to go to the point where she's damaged herself. Man and woman coming together, having sex to have children is not a burden. It's a natural desire, a natural order. It's a natural desire and a natural order of how nature works. There's no force. There's no repercussions. Things happen. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, in the biblical story, God made it look like it's some kind of punishment or it's some kind of like miracle or is it some kind of like drastic, you know, punishment for having children, which is not it's a natural thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, I want to go. I think that's about it. Let's see. Oh yeah, yes. So we're gonna. It still have more. Right. So God gonna double down even more. He gonna double down even more. So after he done tell Adam and Eve what their punishment is, which means they're gonna have children. Adam gonna work his butt off to make sure, Eve is secured. Eve is just gonna pump babies. That's all she's gonna be made for, basically, because he didn't say Eve gonna do any physical work or anything like that. She's just gonna be a baby pumper. That's all Eve gonna do: pump babies and take care of them. That's a lot of sex if you really think about it, right? Adam got to go to work. He got to work in the hot sun. He got to, from sunset to sundown, he got to come home, make love to Eve, have more kids. She get pregnant. I mean, is he still going to smash while she's pregnant? We don't know. I'm just assuming as soon as she have the baby, she got to get pregnant again. I mean, how does that work, right? How does that work? We don't know. I mean, I don't know how that's going to work, right? But let's just say that's what, is going to happen. Now, moving forward, after God give them the punishment. Unto woman, he said, I will greatly multiply the sorrow and thy conception in the sorrow of thy shall bring forth children. And they shall desire and they shall desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now, I see, like I said, having babies is a natural thing. I mean, I know some, women go through pain and stuff, I mean, we don't know no different. Like, we don't know if he would have been different. We don't know if he was made that way. Nobody knows, but if let's say somebody wrote the book, right, and the assumption is the creator made a woman to have pain from birth. What about the animals? Do the animals feel pain too? Because when you see animals having babies, they look like they're in pain too. So the question would be, why did animals have to suffer for what Eve did? You see what I'm saying? So all female animals got to go through pain just to have birth? That's another question we have to ask. Like, that don't make sense, right? Why do the animal have to, like, to me, that should be a beautiful thing. That should be a natural thing. In nature, everything have its place and its ways how it works. All right, let's go on to number 17. And Adam, he shall, and then he talk about how Adam gonna rule over thee, meaning that it's natural for a man to have more dominion over the woman. It's just natural because he's bigger, he's stronger, He tend to keep things in order. He have to make more sacrifice than she does. You know what I'm saying? If something happens to her, he's the one got to pick her up, take her where she got to go. Stuff like that. He have to have those muscle structure. He have to have a wisdom of guidance. He have to have some sympathy, right? He have to have empathy, right? You have to have all these things in abundance in order to manage and uphold his kindness and love for the woman, and as well as the children, right? And you have to have rules and guidance and structure for the children, and as well as discipline. So, it doesn't really make sense. So it's almost like God is saying that if you didn't eat of the fruit, you and Adam would have been in the garden running around, don't ain't having no children. Like wouldn't they still have children if Eve never ate of the fruit? Would they have not have children if Eve have never ate of the fruit? Is that what's God implying? So now that she ate of the fruit, now he got to make it difficult, and then tell them they're gonna do the same thing that humans supposed to do in the first place. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's move on. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I command thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cause, curse, sorry, not cause, curse is the ground of thy snake, is sorrow shalt thou eat of it all days of thy life. So he cursed let me see. He said unto Adam, and he commanded him not to eat of the tree. And then he cursed the snake. And then he said, thorns should also, then going into chapter 8, he said, thorns also, and thistles shall be, I guess that's less like calluses, I guess, shall bring forth that to thee, and thou shalt eat the herbs of the field. So he's saying Adam is gonna, he cursed it, basically saying he cursed the snake, saying what the snake is gonna do for punishment. And then he said Adam is gonna go through a lot of pain, a lot of damages and stress, and cuts, and his body gonna get wear and tear from working in the fields. So he's like, remember now, Eve, the only thing Eve punishes her is to bear children, and she's gonna go through the pain of bearing children. They're gonna butt heads, meaning they're gonna argue a lot. Yo, I swear, like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Because there's things I'm thinking, right? That I want to add to the because like I always say, based on my conclusion and my research that I've been doing, the Bible have a lot to do with racism or the enslavement of African people. They have a lot to do with it. But anyway, my situation. But anyway, so God is literally not giving Eve as much punishment as he's giving Adam. And I guess the point is that Adam is the man, and he should have took lead into not being a simp or being manipulated by Eve. You know what I'm saying? Which I agree. I'm not going to disagree with that. But at the same time, why not just get rid of Eve and move forward? And then Adam will know not to do it again, right? If you wanted to cleanse the sins of the situation, or basically just give Adam a new female. I mean, I guess he have to take another rib, but it is what it is. And then he knows saying Adam now gonna have to deal with thorn. He already said, Adam gonna He basically cracking down on him, saying like, you're listening to your woman, bro. Like, why would you do that? Like, I told you not to do that. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't you tell her not to eat of the fruit? And I pretty much think Eve know not to eat of the fruit because she did challenge this. She did tell the snake that she's not supposed to eat of it, and she did it anyway. So that's like saying women today already had a bad mentality, or a deceptionist, a deceitful deception mentality from day one. You know what I mean? That's what God is saying. And the women today need to, really pay attention. Like, is y'all really saying that y'all typically an example from the Bible? Is that what y'all guys saying? Is that what y'all saying? Because when we do point out these things to y'all, y'all blame it on us. But the Bible already said y'all gonna be a problem. The Bible already said it. So how should men deal with that, right? And then God also said men should rule over thee. Let's go back to that again. This is a chapter, Genesis 2, verse 16. And these desires shall be ruled, and these desires shall be to thee, to thy husband, and rule over thee. Let me read the full sentence. Unto the woman, he said, God said unto the woman, basically, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In the sorrow, thou shalt bring forth children. So the sorrow is the sense of she gonna have more pain, I'm assuming, when she's having children, right? And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. God said, men, the man, your husband, should rule over thee. So therefore, if you have sex with a man, he's your husband. He did not say you have to go to an altar and marry the woman. He did not say you have to have some kind of contract. He did not say, you need a third person to identify your relationship or commitment towards each other. He didn't say nothing like that. What he's saying is, once you start having children with the person, which means if you start having, he didn't say if you're having sex with them specifically, but I pretty much assume having sex means you're going to have children, right? So from the minute you start having sex with somebody and the potential ability to have children, that man is your husband, and he's your ruler. He's rule over thee. That's what the God said. So women who believe in Christianity should not push back or have any rejections when they meet a man or get pregnant by the man, much less getting pregnant. You're going to just stay with him anyway. You might as well just stay with him, right? Now, we already passed the part where, he said God going to punish Adam, and he going to have to work his butt off, to feed him, and he going to have like thorns and stuff in his feet, his skin going to be coming, calluses and all this different stuff, because he going to be working so hard, working so hard, and now thou shalt eat of herbs of the field. So basically, he going to be a gardener, right? That's what God's saying. He going to be a gardener. Now, let's go to verse 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt eat bread. And still thou return unto the ground, for out of it was thou taken. So he talking about when Adam said, Adam gonna eat the stuff that he, like, say he make bread, fruits, whatever, the food that he made from the plants, and once he passed, he's gonna go to the ground. Basically, he's gonna go the way he came. So God made Adam from mud. Remember, he said he saw a face as he was floating over the earth. He saw a vision of a face in the mud, in the water of the mud, and then he pulled up the clay and he made Adam out of mud, right? No, within that mud, without Adam, he's a mud man. He pulled a rib out his, from, I think it's from the right side, and he made a woman, right? The woman deceived God's words. The woman deceived Adam's words, and she did what she wanted to do. Spoil and disrespectful, don't follow directions, don't follow orders, right? But she's still going, and she got pursued to do something she's not supposed to do. She came back, she manipulated Adam into it, right? Adam break the rules and became a simp. Then Adam doubled down and not tried to call her out on her bull, even though he did take the stuff. He should have man up and say, God, man, I did some messed up shit. I hate this, and I should have never did it. But that's not what he did. He hid, so God had to find him. Once God find him, God punished him, and he told him that because you ate of Eve, because you follow a woman that you're supposed to have dominion over, you're following your how you could have minions, or you could have servants and you're following your servants. Is your servant your leader, or you the leader? Which one is it, right? And then he said in the context of Eve not following directions and doing what she's supposed to do, she can have double, her pain gonna double when she's having babies. And not only that her pain gonna double, she's also gonna be a confused, troubled woman, which is gonna cause more problems with Adam throughout his life. Adam punishment is that he's gonna work hard, he's gonna have to sweat, he's gonna go through the stress of, working, and he's gonna have thorns, and all kind of things gonna happen where he's gonna feel the bitter pain of, you know, doing a hard day's work, and so forth, so forth. And then when he died, he's gonna go back to the ground where he came from, right? And he's gonna go back to the ground he came from. For dust thou art, and unto dust shall return. So he's gonna go back to the dust that he returned. So if it would be nice if anybody could really say Adam wasn't a simp, right? So what did I just do? Okay. Yeah, so I would like to see how anybody can say Adam wasn't a simp. Adam was a simp. Ain't no way anybody could refuse that, right? Now, after this, we're not gonna go any further than this. He got after Adam simp and they got their punishment. They were now pushed out of the garden. Now, right here, I'm gonna end it right here. We're gonna, the next story I come back, I might, see what my next chapter gonna be. But I'll let you guys know once I bring the next live on, and we're gonna break it down. So this conversation was basically about Adam and Eve in the Bible after he made Adam, and how Adam became the first male simp of humankind due to religion, contest of God's creation. And for people who do believe in religion, the Christianity religion, Muslim religion, Torah, all of those books that relates to Christianity for the Adam and Eve era, basically should understand that Adam was the first saint. Yes, he was. He was the first saint. He was the first guy that got manipulated, and he doubled down on it. He didn't even fight back. He didn't even push back on Eve and say, yo, what have you done? He didn't even call her out on it. He just said, women ate of the fruit and I ate of it too. He didn't say, man, she manipulated me. That's what he should have said. He should have said, man, Eve manipulated me to eat of the fruit and I should have never done it. Forgive me. But that's not what he did. He doubled down and just be like, yeah, she ate it, and I just kind of went with it. Now, because of the biblical version, every Christian man that believe in this Bible have to go to the tyranny of what Eve did. That's crazy. Where's accountability? Now, let me give you guys the nature side of it. The nature side of it is that, yes, there is man and woman on this planet. Yes, man and woman can have children, or they can have sex. Yes, the woman can bear children, and from what we know, whether she go through pain or not, because not every woman, I would say not most women probably have pain, in some degree, or at least for the first baby they have, they might go through some pain, or more pain than mothers. But the second one, the third, they might have it a little more easier, from what I understand. They said the first one is always the hardest, but over time, the third, the second, the fourth is be a little much easier. It doesn't really break down the way, the Bible say it, because naturally women supposed to have children. Naturally, I guess due to the woman development or biological makeup, she's more confused and emotional. And somebody that's emotional, they're more confused most of the time, and they kind of base their life on how they feel, right? So that's gonna be that brings confusion in some sense, right? Naturally, that women, the part that God didn't speak about is her ability to take care of herself in some degree. Now, in nature, a woman can take care of herself. She just can't hunt for big game. She can hunt for smaller game, smaller animals and stuff like that. And if she have a garden, or they have a garden, the woman can work the garden just as much as the man. So the woman as well is gonna get thorns, and she gonna have to work till her feet get calluses, and she have to work till she sweat come down her brow and eat bread, right? She gonna have to do all of those things, just like the man have to, right? The only difference is the man don't have children. The opposite of a woman having, I would say the opposite of a woman having I said the differences of a woman for a man versus a woman is that when she have babies, or for a woman to have babies, the opposite of that is the man have to be the only one working, because when a woman is pregnant, she can't fully functionalize the way she would function without being pregnant, because our pregnancy makes the woman more docile. It makes her more sensitive for anything, right? For attacks, stuff like that. And that the man can hunt and bring home bigger food, or more heavier things. He can also make sure he build a better house. He can also make sure life is a little more convenient for both of them, not just for her, for both of them, right? So those are the differences between, well, those are the pros and the cons between that man and woman in the nature's world, where God is separating that women can still do things that the man can do, and the man can do things that the woman can do. It's just that the man can do a more of abundant of it. The man can go a little bit longer. The man can, carry, he can deal with longer strives of situation, as well as, he's being meaning like that he's stronger than her. He also have to carry a structural mind, meaning a logical point of view in life, where the woman, not that women can't be logical, but it's more common for men to be more logical, because women base things on how they feel, men base things on how it is. We don't change, we just know what it is, and that's what it is. Women see things based on how she feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference between man and woman in a natural state of mind. Not that God said because of this, women gonna do this and da 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 da. That's the difference between the biblical version and the nature version. Also, too, in the nature version, yeah, men could be naturally simps, depending on how his ability or how he was raised to submit to a woman, or to respect a woman, or to love his woman, or to court his woman. If he was not trained or raised properly to how to understand and how a woman function, then he might do things in the favor to the woman, because some women are raised to manipulate men or to use and conquer men. And if the man doesn't know this or understand this, then yes, the woman would be able to use those manipulation skills upon him, because a woman's strength is her mouth, a man's strength is his physical body, right? His physicality. And in the Bible, it doesn't really say that too much, but that's the difference in power that men and women have. Um, in the real world, we kind of use men to stop men, and basically to protect women, but men have to also learn to be very sympathy, have sympathize, as well as have some emotional control when it comes to women. You know what I mean? Because testosterone can be a dangerous thing. But anyway, I'm gonna end my life here. Let me know what you think. Leave me some comments, so I can go over some comments. Let me see if I can run to see if anybody leave me any comments right now. I'm doing it live on my phone, so I don't really know how this thing works. You know. Yeah. All right. So, all right. All right. Yeah. So, with that said, peace out. Talk to you guys later, and see y'all to the next live. Appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. Peace out.